Just twist a knife. My money's on January 6th.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
What? Yeah, maybe they have their own hearings for January 6th. Yeah, how about that?
We did the big midterm election special.
Yep.
And we did a live show last week. And Brendan was kind enough to kick in again because everybody else bailed on me again. But I digress. So as we mentioned last week, it was not the red wave that people were expecting in some areas, but they did end up getting the House. For all intents and purposes, it looks like the House is going to be going red, and here we go. Republicans win U.S. House majority, setting stage for divided government. So now we didn't expect the Dems to keep the House, and they had a very slim shot at keeping it even at the 11th hour. So this doesn't shock the world by any means, and we do go back to a divided branch of government. This is from Reuters. Republicans were projected to win a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives on Wednesday, setting the stage for 2 years of divided government as President Joe Biden's Democratic Party held control of the Senate. The victory gives Republicans the power to rein in Biden's agenda as well as launch potentially politically damaging probes of his administration and family, though it falls far short of the red wave the party had hoped for. That's really all we need from that article, because I think that's the most telling thing that we need to talk about here is the fact that now that it is a divided government and all of the mudslinging and be it propaganda, if you will, if you want to call it that, or if you just want to call it being honest about the Biden family and the Biden administration going on, laptops, Coke, whatever.
Hookers.
Dr. Chicken, you agree? I had a feeling you might.
Thank you.
This opens up such a big can of worms. And I think that's the fun story, because we know what happened under President Trump. We know how bad it got with the divided government. We know just how far they would take it. And the Republicans have been waiting, not patiently, for 2 years to get impeachment started. This opens the door for that. How quickly do you see it happening? Because we know it's going to happen. How quickly do you think it's going to happen?
They might wait till after. They have to wait till all their people are in there, right? Like January. Yeah. Okay, so maybe the impeachment happens, but if they don't have the Senate, again, it's kind of pointless. Yeah. Right? It's kind of pointless. So, okay, fine, they impeach him. Whoop-de-doo. I think everything into going into Hunter Biden, that I don't know if that's going to bring any more. Allegedly, the FBI has been investigating this guy for what, 2-3 years now?
At least, yeah.
And nothing's come of it. So, I don't have a whole lot of faith in government to do the right thing. So when they tell me that the red wave or the Republicans are going to come in and start, hammering the Democrats, I don't believe it really. I'll believe it when I see it. What I'm just really psyched about right now, just twist a knife. My money's on January 6th.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah, maybe they have their own hearings for January 6th. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, and there's actually a guy that did a documentary on the shaman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he is amazingly naive and innocent. Like when you talk to him, you're like, this guy really believes his own shtick.
Oh no.
Like he was just there to spread love and prayers and stuff like that. Like he would legitimately, yeah. So I'm sorry. I'll tell you what I'm really excited for. I'm really excited for deadlock, because when the government is deadlocked, they spend less of our money.
Hey, yes.
So
you nailed it. That's brilliant. I love that. Dr. Chicken, do you expect less spending?
Oh, you better go get that checked.
I don't know know. His outlook isn't nearly as bright as yours in that regard, I guess. Maybe he likes the inflation. I don't know. Dr. Chicken's a strange bird. Now, I do like that concept, because if they're fighting amongst themselves, they can't torture us like they've been doing for 2 years. But I mean,
everyone's always calling for compromise. What happens when they compromise? We go to war, or we spend a ton of money somewhere else. So you know what? I'm good with them just being mad at each other and just, shut that government down. I'm good with that.
Well, a government united is a government that knows how to ride us even harder. It's not like it's going to get better for us if they compromise. Like, the people have to compromise. The people have to unite. The government uniting does not help us one fucking iota.
No, not at all.
To clarify on the impeachment of Joe Biden, that is an inevitability. It will happen. They will do it. Regardless of its success, that's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It will not be successful. He's not going to be successfully impeached. He's not going to be removed from power at this point, because they've invested too much into making everybody not give a flying fuck about whether he's got dementia or whether or not he's even in charge to begin with. It doesn't matter. People don't care at this point. I can't believe that he's going to make it through his full term. I seriously cannot, because we've been predicting from the get-go. I'd been saying...
You said 6 months. That was way up.
Well, yeah. I was thinking about 2.5 years. I was thinking about just under 2.5 years. And I don't think that's going to be a problem now. I think he's going to make it to the end of his term. He will be impeached, though. And it's going to have to do with his son Hunter. It's going to have to do with the quid pro quo. It's going to have to do with anything they can fucking throw at the wall that'll stick to get to that point. It's not going to work, just like it worked against Donald Trump. But it's more about the formality now, because the status quo became, once you take it from us, we will impeach you. So this going forward is going to be the normal. If the government is branched off in a way that the Republicans or the Democrats can do it, and they don't hold power in the White House, impeachment is just going to be the new normal. This is just going to happen, and there's not going to be any going back from that, because how do we go back from that now? I don't think you can.
He's really flexing tonight.
Yes, he is. Oh, my God. Would you look at this, folks? In vertical 16:9 TikTok. Oh, no, now we're horizontal landscape formatted. In the dark, in the shadows, emerging from the grayness of the night. The one, the only, the leader of the KOE Nation, one, Phil KOE. Welcome.
Yes, folks, it is I, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. And yes, if you stare too deeply into this void will stare right back at you. But folks, I could not allow election coverage to go without my amazing analysis. So as you undoubtedly know, folks, Phil KOE batted 1,000 for my predictions on election night. It was perfect night for Phil KOE. Red Wave was unbelievable. It was incredible. Oh wait,
I don't.
That was 2016. Anyways,
did you actually look at the results yet, Phil? Or were you just assuming?
We'll get to the impeachment here in a second, but everybody says, "Oh my goodness, the Republicans didn't do well in the midterms." A mere 5 months after overturning Roe v. Wade and the first national election after January 6th, the Republicans still managed to take the House of Representatives. Oh my God, how are we ever going to recover from this disaster? And yes, the impeachments, they begin when inauguration hits, either late that night or early the next morning, for any Republican that wants to ever get reelected ever again. Hey, Tiberius. Well, I mean, Ty, you don't even need to show up. I mean, you just got Phil KOE to give all of this analysis, and that's really all you need. So don't worry about it, Ty. Don't worry about it, Ty. So really, the impeachments are starting. Couldn't have happened to a more deserving guy. And we got all these fans on the YouTube side right now, too.
Yeah, we are getting bombarded with girls 18 and online for fun. It looks like, oh boy.
Well, you can't really say you've made it in this life until you start getting plus 18 ads being spammed in your comments. I mean, come on now. But Tiberius, he was actually pretty correct, but like none was more correct than Phil KOE. I mean,
well,
come on.
Phil, we talked a little bit about this. It's not that anybody thought that the Republicans failed. I mean, the red wave wasn't the red wave anybody anticipated that was calling for a massive flooding, but it was the fact that these things were as close as they were. Now, the Senate wasn't nearly as important as the House for the Republicans to take, but the House did come down pretty close to the end. Now, this took a lot longer for the Republicans to shore up the House than I don't think anybody expected it to take this long. We're talking, 10 days later, and it's just now finally coming to fruition. The Democrats did have a slim, very, very slim chance if they ran the table at the end to keep it, but even then it wasn't going to happen. But it was very close right up into the end. So that's the disappointment.
To be fair, the districts that took so long were using Common Core math to count their ballots. So, yeah, that just unfortunately that's baked into the cake now that's how people count in this country. So yeah, unfortunately that's like, keep that in mind. We can map the human genome almost instantaneously and think of all the information that we can get almost immediately and instantly digitally, but Arizona just can't figure out how to count them ballots. Trust us, bro. So yeah, that's American democracy now. Isn't that fun?
So while I've got both of you here, I guess the big question I have, because I don't follow it as closely. I just, it's Herschel Walker, so I have a hard time caring. But where are we going with Georgia? What's going to happen in Georgia?
Not nearly the same amount of money is going to get poured into it as if Nevada had gone Republican, which that was like, oh, come on, that would have been the best possible outcome for us podcasters, is a tied Senate that goes down to a Georgia runoff. That would have been beautiful, because then us podcasters can just milk the whole election thing for another month. It was beautiful, but no. Nevada had to fuck it all up.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow.
It's still going to be fun to watch, though. Herschel Walker he's certifiable in some ways. Like, so it's pretty fun. Like, and I like the guy. I was watching some reality show. I had no idea what it was. And then I saw him on it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And he's legitimately crazy. He's legitimately crazy. So, hey, nothing else. Again, like, it's like Trump, with his Twitter accounts. At least he's hilarious. So, like, there's at least one thing going for him.
Yeah, like, to me, Herschel Walker, when he was in his 50s and he got into an MMA cage for the first time, and he goes up against a jacked motherfucker who's half his age, and Herschel Walker beats the fuck out of this guy. And after that, I was like, okay, Herschel, you got more than some of my respect. So, like, that motherfucker could say some outlandish shit, and from what I've heard, apparently he has. But I would still be like, yeah, fuck it. Us fighters got to stick together all the way, Herschel. But so that's. Oh shit! Thought I was hearing some shit going on. Like, Chupacabra's coming to get me or some shit. Hey, we've got the chicken here. How we doing there, Dr. Chicken? They call me Dr. Chicken.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, big Herschel Walker fan, the chicken, obviously.
Yeah. Yes.
I tried to send you another link. I hope
Grow the Farm Up, which definitely go check them out on YouTube. I've been blowing up lately, you lucky so-and-so. Herschel Walker may be the most overrated, worst Republican candidate in history. And the fact that he is within the margin of error of Ralph Warnock, the guy who's the preacher at Martin Luther King's fucking church. Why is this guy not on the short list for the presidential run for the Democrats? He is like literally the best candidate they could ever put up in 1,000 years. And why is he within the margin of error with the guy who scored touchdowns and beat people up in a cage? That means I'm sorry, you have fucked up bad. No, that was Romney 2012. Yeah, that one. That was
he was pretty bad.
He was pretty milquetoast. He was I don't know if Ty's still in the comments, but yeah,
that milk toast, that toast was on wheat bread, whole grain wheat. That's how bland that shit was.
Whoa, Mitt Romney on wheat. Whoa, Tony, that's way too much spice for Mitt Romney. Wheat bread.
His binder full of women.
Yes.
I didn't say jalapeno cheddar from Subway. Come on, I said like whole grain wheat. Like that's about as dry as it gets.
I figured he'd be like a Wonder Bread kind of guy.
It would be flour. Nice, nice. Whoa, whoa, Schrodinger. That's pretty spicy there. That's pretty spicy. You're talking some Midwesterners, okay? That's a lot of spice. So, and gluten free. I remember one time I was at a health food store and it said gluten-free wheat bread, and I was just staring at it. How?
Yeah.
How? What is it made of then? What is it? And I was just about to be just like sitting down across the aisle, like looking at it, like, but I realized, okay, I need to walk away. Need to walk away. No.
Yeah. Well, so Herschel Walker, I think, is I mean, I don't think he's gonna win, but I mean, Georgia is a heavily red state, right?
It's reddish. Unless when it comes to the Senate, strangely enough, then not so much. But honestly, I was kind of joking on election night that if it went to the tie and that was the runoff decider, there would not be one man, woman, or child in the state of Georgia that was not going to be aware that there was a runoff. Those poor fuckers. Now the Republicans aren't going to go both barrels into it because why? Sorry, I ain't got none on me at the moment. But
how close to my house are you, Phil?
God damn it, Tony.
I'm just saying you could run down for a cameo and a shot.
I just don't see that working somehow. Grow the farm out. Yes.
Amazingly.
As farmers, we look at that and laugh. It's not physically possible to have wheat and not gluten. I mean, I was just like, but how? Why? Like, what abomination is this? Like, yeah, this is abomination. This is heresy. This court is out of order. Just rest. But in the meantime, Tony can chug a beer. Hey, thank you, chugging. Tony, hit to the chug. Chug. But so what's going to happen here is what are they going to impeach Biden over? Well, okay, let's just go from the most recent examples and start working back. If you want to go with the most recent example, where Biden, it's now known that we have actually documentation of it that Biden tried to influence the OPEC nations to try and change the oil price for the midterm. That is at least as bad, if not worse, than what Trump was accused of doing in Ukraine, which turns out he was impeached for investigating things in Ukraine that we now know to be true. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Right there, you got a pretty strong case for impeachment for Biden. And then also the beautiful thing, this is the one that I love the most. Biden, Hunter and Joe, when people say, well, Hunter's not the president, Hunter and Joe have a joint checking account that Hunter himself publicly admitted back in 2019 that him and Joe possessed a joint checking account. Now, if you don't think that the Republicans in the House are going to subpoena and audit that checking account, there's not enough fucking arable land to create enough drugs for you to be smoking if you think they're not going to fucking subpoena that. So that's where all the fucking dirty money is, all that went on in the dark is soon going to come to the light. And it's going to be beautiful. And sorry, Dams, you open this Pandora's box of questionable impeachments. You might have started it, but the Republicans are going to finish it.